everyone, I'm Kathy Dawson. Welcome to Can You Relate, Cleveland's and Northeast Ohio's relationship show. I'm very excited. We have a wonderful show for you today. We're going to be asking the question to the women on the couch for the roundup, can you forgive and forget? Also, we're going to talk about, is it okay to vacation separately between you and your spouse? You having one vacation, he having another. We're also going to talk about how honest are you with your doctor. So let's get started. So how honest are you with your doctor, and does that affect your health? I'm delighted, as always, to have Mary Sheehan back on the couch. You are a pharmacist, and you have been for over 20 years, yes. And you own the company called Good Medicine. And what I love about what you do is that you really act as an advocate for people to inform them and really enhance the relationship with their doctor.
Exactly.
So what does that mean when you say you really need to be honest with your doctor?
What I found in the pharmacy and then working with clients individually is that they are not always honest about maybe skipping doses, maybe doubling doses, maybe they didn't even get the prescription filled because they couldn't afford the copay and just didn't want to tell them, or what's a big trend now is that they're employing some form of alternative medicine, be it with a different practitioner totally, that they're using, or they're taking an herb or a supplement and they are afraid to tell their physician about it, or they're having a side effect and they're afraid to tell their physician
So
about
they're
it.
hiding all this stuff. They're kind of hiding
it. They are, yeah.
You know, it's funny you bring this up because I remember going to a doctor once, and I had gone to a different doctor for a while, and the doctor said, "How come I haven't seen you?" And I felt funny saying,
like you're cheating.
Well, I was cheating on you. Yeah, exactly. So what do you recommend? How do you empower someone to be able to say, listen, here's what happened?
Well, it's kind of interesting. You have to remember, and this is what I try to tell people, that we are in essence on the same side. You know, we use a lot of war imagery in healthcare. There's this whole image of battling. One lady came in and said she was having one problem with one drug from another doctor, and the other physician said, well, you're going to have to go do battle with your pulmonologist. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we're sending a 70-year-old, 80-pound woman in to do battle, you know? And I had to take a step back with her, and then I realized, wow, we're setting people up for this idea that we're on opposite sides. And we're not. We're on the same side, because no matter if it's a third party or a lawyer or a hospital, all these things are involved in healthcare. At the end of the day, it's you and this provider, and they do really care about you. And they do really want you to get better, as do you. Thus, you're on the same side.
So that's a mindset you need.
It is. And she was so surprised to hear me say that we're on the same side. So you're on the same side, and from that position, you can feel at least a little bit of strength, like, hey, listen, I know that you really care about me. Let me tell you what I've been doing or what's really going on. And why, just to take that step.
Now, you know, when I work with couples, I work with language a lot, because a lot of communication has to do with language. And I like the segue that you used. Do you recommend that you actually say this to your doctor, that you say, hey, listen, I know that sounds like a weird way to, but doesn't it kind of get you into the conversation?
Or even, I'm afraid to tell you something. Because I'm afraid you're going to be mad at me.
Now, isn't that kind of a vulnerable place to come from?
Well, it is, but in that at least it's truthful. And when you're true and you're speaking your truth, there is a strength in that that's a different kind of strength, I think. You know, it so aligns with who you are, and it kind of is like, oh, okay, well, she's afraid to tell me something. Well, why would you be afraid? That's so contrary to what I want this relationship to be like. And I would think the provider would feel that way.
And then their wall, if they even have one, falls down. And then you have a more genuine conversation.
I think so, yes.
This is so important, because our health starts with what comes out of our mouth.
It does, and we don't even think about it, that we're even setting up this whole battle scene.
So you actually work with people, I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, in using certain language.
Using language where their position is, and also even to back up a little bit, why are you doing what you're doing? Do you have all your ducks in a row and all your information? And even write it down. This is what's going on with me. I've decided to use an acupuncturist for this, this, or this, and didn't know how you'd feel about it. Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? We've said that before. So you have the information, you have the plan, and you have the position that this is really what's good for me, and I know that you want what's best for me.
You know what I love about what you do is you teach people to be critical thinkers.
Oh, I do.
And
That's
to
a good way to
trust
look at it.
their intuition, and to speak their truth.
And to stand up for themselves, because we're all on the same side.
Yay. Terrific.
Go team.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Your company is Good Medicine, and if you need help in this area, give Mary Sheehan a call at 330-592 5793, and your website is goodmedicinepharmacist.com. Stay tuned because we've got Relationship Roundup coming right up.
Up next, is it possible to forgive and forget? Our Relationship Roundup has responses you'll remember. And later in the show, the mind and body relationship. We'll tell you how to treat your skin and calm your soul.
Hi, I'm Alex with Northeast Factory Direct, where we have over 50 sofas for $3.99 each. Get solid wood kitchen cabinets, half the price of the big box stores. We've got carpet as low as $1.49 a square foot installed with padding at Northeast Factory Direct.
Log on to WKYC.com right now for great deals on golf. Some of the best golf courses in Northeast Ohio are offering golf for 50% off. So log on and grab those clubs.
This is our Relationship Roundup segment. I love this segment because I get to have my friends come on the couch and we chat and we talk about different relationship topics. So I want everybody here on the couch to introduce themselves, and we'll start on the far end here.
Hi, I'm Donna Fox.
Hi, Donna.
I'm Angela Lind.
Hi, Angela.
Christina Forward.
Okay, now we're going to go back the other way. Tell me how many kids you have and how many years you've been married.
I've been married for 3 years. I have a 15-month-old daughter.
Okay, great. Angela?
I have been married for 4 years, and I have a 3-year-old son.
Terrific.
And I've been married for 9 years and have 2 grown daughters.
Wonderful. Okay, you ready? This is the question. In a relationship, can you forgive and forget? Now, well, it depends on the situation, but let's hear what you have to say.
Forgiveness. I've been on both ends. I've been the forgiver and the forgiven. And what was most important in all of the situations was that that person was so important to me, and that relationship I wanted in my life, so I had to be forgiven or, forgive. Well, now forgetting. That's sort of a whole nother story, isn't it?
Isn't it?
But the bottom line for me is, at one point you sort of do forget sort of that soul-searing pain of whatever the betrayal was. And yet I still want to remember it because I don't want to repeat it. I want to know why it happened, how it happened, what happened, and how can I not do that again.
How about you guys?
Well, also, you may not forget it because if something's very traumatic in your life, you're not going to forget it, but forget it in the sense where you're not going to bring it up again to hurt the other person in a conflict. But forgiveness, I think you can forgive someone. But like you said, it just depends on how important that person is to you.
Yeah, Christina, that whole thing, let's bring it up from the past again, is a real thing in a relationship. I see it all the time, and it just kind of keeps you where you can't grow. How do you grow if you keep bringing it up over and over? How about you, Angela?
Well, and speaking about growing, with the forgiveness portion of it, I find, especially if it's something small, I will try and tell that person how I feel, and then I'm able to forgive and just move on.
Yes, get it up and out. Because it's one thing to just go, oh, I forgive you. Meanwhile, it's still sitting there and it's stirring in your...
And you don't want to feel like a doormat. So, I mean, you want to be able to be respected and say, you did this, you hurt me, but now we can move on.
Right.
And time is such an important variable in it. It's not going to be, okay, you got cheated on, and the next day you go, okay, I forgive you.
Well, it's a different way.
That's situational. If what we're talking about is infidelity, I always tell people it takes, hello Fly, welcome to the couch. It takes 4 seasons, at least 4. Give yourself, nature, 4 seasons to die, because it's a loss, and to come back to life.
Well, just in my personal experience, I say if somebody is cheating on you, they don't value your relationship enough and they don't respect you enough. So do you want that person in your life?
That's a very good point.
And is it worth it to you?
Well, that's a whole nother topic. I'll have to have you back on because I'd love to get into that. Thank you so much for answering the question. And I know you must have some feelings and ideas on this, so you can tweet us or you can Facebook us, but just get a hold of us. Stay tuned because we've got another segment coming right up.
Rate Your Relationship is sponsored by Integrity First Planners, helping to make your future as predictable as possible. Think you know what's on your mate's mind? Well, maybe, but you might be mistaken. Attempts at mind reading occur if you assume your mate feels a certain way without asking him or her. Assume your mate has a particular opinion without asking him or her. Jump into your mate's head and verbalize what you think he or she is thinking or feeling. In short, you speak for your mate. Coach Kathy has made up her mind to share a message on how to have a meeting of the minds with your mate.
If you answered yes to any of these questions, chances are you're in the mind reading habit with your partner. Now, I always tell people that when you try to mind read, you jump into somebody's head. And I see this is one of the biggest habits people have, is they will speak for their partner. They'll be sitting side by side and they'll say, well, you think this, or you like it when this happens. And if you watch the other person, they stiffen up because they feel like somebody's trying to jump in their head. The best way to handle mind reading and to avoid mind reading is to turn to the person and just say, I'm wondering, is this what you're thinking? And they'll tell you. So if you know someone who would like to take this survey, they can do so by going to CanYouRelateTV.com. Stay tuned, we have more of Can You Relate coming up.
Just ahead, your body knows when your mind is upset. We'll reveal how a spa can put both at ease. And later, we'll unlock the secrets to selling your home sweet home.
For those who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, finding the courage to change is the first step to lasting recovery. Discover life in recovery. Discover Glen Bay.
Glen Bay, nationally recognized drug and alcohol treatment for adults. Discover more at glenbay.com.
We all know that there is a mind-body connection, but what exactly does that mean? I'm happy to have Heather Elmers back from John Roberts Spa to talk to us. You're going to talk to us about what does that actually mean. You hear that today, mind-body-spirit connection, but what does it mean really to have a mind-body connection?
Basically, it's the relationship between relaxing your mind and relaxing your body. It's all symbiotic. It all works together. And when you relax your mind, you relax your body, and vice versa. When you relax your body, you can calm your mind.
Yes. Now, which one comes first usually?
It just depends.
I know for me, it's relaxing the mind is the hardest.
I think so for a lot of people. We're ravaged by stressors in today's world.
Distractions.
Yes.
So people come into John Roberts, they're stressed. What do you do to help them relax their mind?
Well, basically, the first and foremost, most important piece is to get them to calm their mind and quiet their mind by closing their eyes and taking a couple deep breaths and really relaxing.
Okay, I'm going to try this. Night. No, I'm sorry. No, that, just closing your eyes, you get rid of the distraction.
That's right. And just focusing on your breath really helps you release a lot of the tension that you've been holding. You may not even realize that you have been carrying this around.
This is nothing to be proud of, but I can hold my breath underwater for like a minute, 20 seconds. Great, huh? Not so good.
No, yeah.
Because you don't get the oxygen to the brain, and I find myself holding my breath just automatically.
Right. Right.
So what other kinds of things can you do to help people at John Roberts?
Well, definitely the power of touch is really huge. I mean, that is a definite big plus with calming your body and calming your mind. We definitely cater each service to the individual needs of the person and, where they're feeling this stress. I mean, some people carry it in their head, neck, and shoulders, mid-back, low back. Typically, a lot of women carry head, neck, and shoulder.
Right. You know what else is going on is we're all sitting by the computer doing this.
Absolutely.
So that's why this is going on.
Absolutely.
So you do this really cool thing where you talk about natures. Everybody's nature.
Right.
Tell us more about that.
Well, it's kind of where you're sort of deficient, where you're sort of lacking. So in one area, if you have a tendency to be kind of flighty and kind of up in the air and need a little focusing,
Ayurvedically, I'm air.
Right, yeah. Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of oils and different pressure points and things that we can do to calm that.
Okay.
And help bring that back into balance, because that's what we're all sort of striving for.
And isn't that what nature's about anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So picture this. I come into your salon and I go, I'm air. Okay,
right.
Help me.
Right.
I feel like I'm lifted off the ground. I'm spacey. I'm just, not all the time, but on a certain day I might be like, so would you say, here, pick out these certain aromas or?
And basically, your body has a tendency to choose the aroma that is right for you.
Really?
Yes, it's a smart system.
How does that work? Now you've got some. Is that what you've got here? Is aromatherapy?
I do. Yes, for the three different natures.
And what are the three natures?
The three natures are the infinity in air, and the water, earth, and then what we call like a fire, which is a more sensitive.
Now, what's the difference between, I can figure out the earth, my husband, by the way, is earth, and I'm air, but what is fire?
Fire has a tendency to be people who are a little more sensitive.
Oh.
You have to really kind of be careful. It's a lighter pressure, and you have to be careful with the products you use.
Okay.
Definitely.
So people come in, they get a massage, they pick their aromatherapy, you figure out what their nature is, that helps you figure out what points to touch on them. Book me. What do you got going for next week? Okay. So if you're feeling stressed, who isn't, you'll want to give John Roberts a call because this is a really neat thing that they do. Their number is 216-839-4850 and your website is johnrobertsspa.com. Heather, thank you so much for coming back. Stay tuned. We have the next segment coming right up.
Next, we'll list the questions to ask to find out if your realtor is the real deal. Then, you want to travel with your gal pals, but that means leaving hubby at home. Coach Kathy has tips on taking separate trips.
One of the most romantic gestures you can give to your mate is to thank his or her parents for the gift of their son or daughter. I know someone who did just that by writing her mother-in-law a poem of gratitude, and here it is. You always claimed about your third son that he marches to the beat of a different drum. I think that's why he's the one for me. There's never a dull day. I think you'll agree. He makes me laugh almost every day, although sometimes he can really get in my way. But a wonderful husband he has turned out to be, and an awesome dad, as I'm sure you can see. So kudos to you on a job well done for raising your wonderful, loving son. When I said I do, I became his wife and then blessed to have you in my life.
Everybody wins when you decide to donate your ride to Our Lady of the Wayside.
Our Lady of the Wayside is so much more than a car donation program. For over 40 years, we've helped thousands of physically and mentally challenged citizens live more comfortable lives within our network of homes. Our services range from assisting with personal care to developing productive personal growth. With your generous support and help, we can reach out to so many more. Y'all can help. Visit wayside.org or stop in to see us today. You can change lives.
So you're ready to sell your home. How do you get prospective buyers to take a look at it? Your home needs a marketing plan. I'm delighted, as always, to have Eileen McKeon here from Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So tell us what you mean by a home has to have a marketing plan. What does that mean?
The three terms that we always talk about is price, location, and condition. And those are the things that some of which you have control over, some of which you don't. So the marketing plan is really, the way we did it 50 years ago is still ultimately the way a home gets sold today. Our tools have changed, but I think the first question you ask whoever you're going to be working with is, what is the plan? Not just sticking a sign up and hoping people find it and come.
So people come to you and they say, okay, help me. What do they ask you that question? What is the plan?
Many do, many don't. I mean, we have a plan, and that's what we offer is a very systematic approach to really what sells a house. And there's a lot of sort of fact and fiction, a lot of myths about and distractions that a lot of sellers, they really never want to, some of them don't want to face the music as to if it's the price or the condition. So they get distracted with other tools where, if you hung the flyer down at the coffee shop, is that what's going to sell your house?
Now I have to tell you, we have sold, I can't believe I'm saying this on the air, 7 or 8 homes. All right, we move a lot. And the open house, it's like, oh, you got to have an open house. Come on. Yeah. Really?
Some of the myths, I think about 95% of homes are sold a very conventional way. There's about 5% of things that take up, it's probably the 80-20 rule, that 80% of these things are just running around, making you feel like you're trying to be proactive and do something, but they really do not necessarily bring a buyer. Open houses, I think the statistic is less than 1% of homes are sold with a buyer coming into the open house.
No way.
Yeah.
Now, don't you you guys, you have a realtor's open house, though. Isn't that a different kind of thing?
Yeah, that's an important one because ultimately that's what we say is agents sell houses. And so, we market, you market. That's a very successful way is to get the agents in the house, promote it, and let them see all the benefits.
That makes sense to me. But the general open house, you get all kinds of people coming in just to see the decorating.
Right.
And every once in a while you do hit on one.
Right.
Plus
you were one. You were one. You're my 1%.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just taking a walk and Dick said, oh, that's a cool looking house. Let's go look at it. And then we bought it. I can't believe it. Anyway, that's that Ayurvedic airy thing about pumpkin. So what are some other myths?
Yeah, ultimately agents sell houses. The internet certainly is a huge tool that's really your first appointment. Buyers can do the aerial views, they study the house, they look at the photos. When they come to the house, that's really a second appointment because they're coming to verify the condition and that it's really as great as it looks. So open houses really are not going to sell it. The flyer boxes in the front lawn.
I always see those. I wonder about that.
Flyers at the coffee shop. That's just a seller looking for reasons other than price and condition.
And you know what? I can remember you doing this. As a realtor, do you have a special camera that makes those rooms look long and big?
I have a wide angle lens.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you make it, and it is beautiful. I mean, the pictures you take are incredible. So that's where the buyer goes online to Howard Hanna, right? And then they look up the home by a listing number, I guess it is?
They can plug in their address. They can, a lot of different search parameters to find it, what they're looking for.
So that's the homework that they do.
Right.
And then they come to you and say, so what's the plan?
Right.
And then you put a plan together.
We have a marketing plan, and it's week by week. So the first 4 weeks, the most people will be in your home.
Okay.
And so it's week by week.
It's the first 4 weeks. Interesting. All right. Doesn't mean it's going to drop off totally, but that's the most activity.
Right.
Good information. Yep. I mean, we've used you how many times? I can tell you it's great. Stick around, there'll be another. Okay, if you want to sell your home, you'll want to give Eileen McKeon a call at the McKeon Group at 216-233-6723, and your website is themckeongroup.com. Thanks again. And now we have Lexi Hotchkiss here with Positively Cleveland to tell us something positively wonderful that you can do in our area. Lexi?
Hi, Kathy. Thank you. Yeah, 4th of July is coming up here, and we're getting ready for an extended weekend. Many of you may have gone to the Star Spangled Spectacular event held at Public Square every year, but just as a note, they're not doing that this year. They'll be doing a commemorative concert on September 11th. But there are still plenty of great events happening in Cleveland, particularly the Larchmere Festival coming up on July 2nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Larchmere Boulevard is located right around Shaker Heights, Shaker Square area, within walking distance, but they've got antique festivals, community flea markets, they've got Authors Alley where they've got all these authors coming out, all kinds of local art, jewelry, a really great event, family friendly, and you can visit www.larchmere.com for more information, or of course you can visit positivelycleveland.com. And more Can You Relate coming up next. Thanks.
Coming up, do separate vacations lead to separations? Kathy has the ticket on how to tell. And in 3 weeks, he loves you just the way you are, and vice versa. So why do we try to change each other? Our relationship roundup might just change your point of view. Next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson.
Craig and Mark Lindell and Grange Insurance know that when you're out there doing what you do, the last thing you want to worry about is sketchy claims coverage from a cut-rate insurance company. When you go with Lindell Insurance and Grange, you're working with companies that use big, bold brushstrokes when it comes to claims and make an art of working out even the smallest details to make everything perfect. Contact Lindell Insurance or visit their website.
This is the Ask Coach Kathy segment. This is where you get to write in a question and I will answer it on the air. So this is this week's question. Kathy, I'm thinking of taking a week's vacation with my girlfriends. What do you think about husbands and wives taking separate vacations? Here's what I think. I think that if you and your husband once a year take 1 week away Absolutely go out with your girlfriends and have a fun time. Now, if you and your husband have not had a vacation in 17 years and you're still yearly going out with your girlfriends, not such a good idea. But, like I said before, there are times you need to separate. I'm not into this, you got to be attached at the hip thing. So when you do take vacations, though, and you do come back, I think you're a much interesting person, you have more to share, and I think it really does enhance your relationship. So bon voyage. Now, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer on the air, please email us at info@canyourelatetv.com. Stay tuned. I'll be back to tell you what's coming up in next week's show.
Would you like Coach Kathy's help in making your relationship the best it can be? You can get in touch with Kathy by calling 216-932-5016 or visit Kathy at kathythecoach.com.
Thanks for joining us for Can You Relate? Actually, we don't have a show next week. We're going to be off for 2 weeks because of Wimbledon. But we'll be back on July 11th with another great show. So we'll see you then on Can You Relate?
Wardrobe provided by Aurora Farms Premium Outlets. Hair and makeup courtesy of John Roberts Salon and Spa. Want to learn more about today's topics? Suggest segments? Add your input. You can do all this and more at www.canyourelatetv.com. Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson is presented by CK Media Productions.